Hi, my name is Mark Howard. I'm team mechanic with team Østerhus Ridley, and today we're going to wrap some handlebar tape. So what you're going to need is some scissors, some tape to finish. Sometimes handy is a pin spanner to hold the tape on, and of course your tape. So here we're using Forza tape with a slight adhesive backing, so it's quite good. So to start with, you want to check your cables, make sure your cables, here I've taped the cables off already. I like to run the gear cable at the back and the brake cable at the front. The reason I do that is because if you look on here, if you run them both on the front, you get your cables quite close together and a little bit messy. If you run them on the back, as you do here, you see your cables are nicely separated. Your gear cables are at the back, your brake cables are at the front. Keeps them separated and nice and neat. So, okay, so take your tape out of the package. You'll get two bar plugs. This you don't need, you can throw that away. Sometimes you'll get two small little strips which run behind the shifter here. It's personal preference whether you use those or not, but today I won't be using them. I'll do a method, what's called the figure 8. So take one strand of tape, take your adhesive backing off, stretch like that. Have your bar plug ready, your scissors and your tape all close by, so they're easy reach. And we want to start just by about half. Take the first, put tension on the tape, and you want to come to about 5mm there. Do it one more wrap around. A lot of people leave this to the last step, but I like to do it early because it ends up being crucial to how well the bar plug fits. You don't want too much tape in there and find it doesn't fit properly. Put the plug at an angle and then twist it in the direction of the tape. That way you get a nice firm fit. And then just continue wrapping about 3/4 of the distance on a slight angle. I like to wrap outside the inside because when a rider sits on the handlebar, he tends to roll the wrist inwards, so therefore it tightens the tape rather than loosen. Just continue wrapping around, keeping constant tension on the tape, making sure all your wraps are nice and even. This is where it starts to get a little bit tricky. So you come under the bar, just so it's under. You can come a little bit lower, but it depends on where your tape comes to. Go round behind the bar, over, trying to keep keep it nice and close there. Then come back under, and then up and over. Little bit tricky, but with some practice you get used to it. Then you want to make sure you're wrapping towards the rear of the bike, because when a rider sits here, the wrists roll down, so therefore again tightens the tape. Then before you go any further, just pull your hood cover back. This is where the pin spanner can come in handy. You can put the spin spanner on like that, holds the tape for you. Make sure you leave your holes a little bit exposed if there's holes there for the hood to sit into. And then just check, make sure you have no gaps. No gaps here. So the bracket is not exposed. It's covered by the rubber and the tape. So, as I said, you can use the little strip around the back. That makes it a little bit easier. You have to wrap less times. but you sometimes get a little bit of bulk from the overlap here, and it makes the hood cover a little bit bulky, but you can also cut it flush with the shifter. It's just a personal preference. Everyone likes to do it a little bit different. Sometimes I use a strip, sometimes I don't. Depends on the type of shifter as well. So then just keep wrapping around, still keeping tension on the tape. Keeping it all nice even distance. Then it'll come a little bit straighter, but then start to angle it back on that type of angle. So we want to finish about here. So take your scissors and cut perpendicular to the stem on the inside. If you cut on the other side, you'll end up with a lip, and you don't want that because it's a little ugly. So we cut a nice long angle like so. The reason why we cut it that length is so it goes around the whole distance of the bar, like so. Finish tape is important in colour. We're using red because it matches the little bit of red highlights on the frame, on the Ridley Helium. So then you want to start, you can start on the top, bottom, doesn't really matter, but start where the tape, where you've cut the tape finish. Just overhang it by just a small amount, and then put tension, slight tension on the tape, and you'll see it lips over the edge with the tension, like so. Then you want to neaten up this bit. Try not to go too wide. Try and keep the tape just the width of the tape. Then you can just let the tension off a little bit and just gently wrap it around. Usually 3 or 4 times is enough. Cut it off on an angle so it's easy to pick off when you're changing your tape. And then you're done. And that's wrapping bar tape, pro style.